Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto nerds of all ages, you know who I am. My name is Monty Allen, and I am your crypto nerd. And stay tuned today because we have a special guest from the Dartroom. All right, there we go. Steph, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear everything.
All right, I love it. So the amazing part about technology is when it works. So no lag, everything sounds good, crystal clear. I'm glad that you could join us today and give us some insight into what's going on with the Dartroom. You just had a successful launch. Was that, has it been 24 hours? Was it just yesterday? When did you go live?
Yeah, 36 hours or something.
36 hours ago? Okay, so a day and a half ago. And I think it would be safe to say that the new launch has been a success up to this point, right?
Definitely. Way more have sold than we could have imagined.
Excellent. I've retweeted a couple of times. I saw the first piece sold for, well over the reserve price of 5,000 algos or something along those lines. It looked like Kim, was it Kim? The artist name? It was very pleased, and I see 8 to 10 other projects that have already sold, and I see another 8 to 10 listings, I think, now as well, right?
Yeah, more than listing at the moment, yes.
More listing as okay, very good. So I know that there has been some questions in the community about the new NFT, the SMART NFTs that you're utilizing. And to me, I mean, it's interesting to get the community involved and to have, art portrayed on the blockchain and to use Algorand. But it's interesting to me to talk about the tech. And the art's cool, right? But I think the art speaks for itself. But the nitty gritty behind it, how did you make this happen? And did you always know you were going to use the SMART NFTs?
No, at first we tried it with ASA. But royalties, implementation, and auctions and everything is very hard to do there.
Right.
You're basically locked to the standard that Algorand has set at the beginning. We more wanted to make our own custom asset, so ACA.
Okay. So versus the ASA. So this new smart NFT enabled you to bake in the royalty function. That's the part that kind of intrigues me the most. And if I were an artist, I think that would draw me to the platform like a fairly, a reasonable amount. I think I would want to be involved in this community, and the technology I think is cool too. So can you talk about how that royalty piece, works for an artist?
Well, they when they sell an artwork, they first receive, of course, a large amount of the sale price, 85%. And after every time it's sold again, they will receive 10% of the sale price for the end of time, so to say.
In perpetuity, right? Forever.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So they receive 85% upfront, and then what did you say? 10% moving on?
10% for the artist, and then 5% for the art room.
Okay, excellent. Now, do you anticipate that there will be a large, resell market for these art pieces?
Over time, I think it will become more popular to resell. At the moment, I think it's hard to find bidders that are going to pay more than 50% over the price it was sold for. Right. Otherwise, you want to make a profit to pay 85% in royalties.
Right.
So you need to gain significantly more value at the moment, and it has definitely been difficult for artists to sell their pieces higher than their average sale price. So once they first sold for the sale price, they often don't really see a second sale for a long time.
Right. So it may be a couple of years. So if you are an NFT investor, I would say this is kind of a long-term hold for you. And me personally, I would be what I call like a conscientious, purchaser. I would want to buy a piece that speaks to me. And for me right now, it's less about like who the artist is and what that piece does for me personally. But I could see a point in time when, artwork on NFTs on a system like this becomes a serious investment, and you're not just an appreciator, but you're a collector and an investor in something like that. Are you hoping for that type of ecosystem eventually?
Well, that would bring the most money to the system. So
Yeah.
it would, of course, be good for us. And also, the artists would profit from that as well. It's definitely something that will happen eventually, as at least the system will become similar to the real art world, where most pieces are only sold or collected for value and not really for what they represent.
Right. Now, real art, it didn't happen very often, but every once in a while we hear about some kind of shenanigans where there may be an imposter piece. There's some kind of fraud. Somebody recreates a piece, but that's really impossible given the NFT system that we have now, right?
Yes, with especially old artworks, it's very difficult to find out if the original drawer was actually the one who just write it on pen and paper. Oh, this is me. With the digital NFT, there is no question who made it. The create address is directly visible. This person made it. It will forever be there. You could say that it's possible for an artist to create another piece, but the unique identifier will be different. So they will basically destroy their own value if they did that.
Right, that does make sense. So the artist, I guess, could make duplicate pieces if they wanted to,
Yes.
and we have seen where people have made a series. So they have made a limited series of, let's say, 10 pieces. Is that something you foresee in the future? May there be a couple of different versions, or maybe even duplicates? What if an artist wanted to make 2 copies of a particular piece?
We're currently working on another version of the contract that would allow multiple shares. If we want to make it an easy update, it would be 9 shares, and those would all be able to be sold individually in separate auctions, all at the same time, which is pretty cool. We could expand that to 20, maybe, with the current contract system, if we harness the power of calling upon 2 different extra contracts to store the owner values there.
Very
interesting.
interesting.
That's something we have in the works, so to say.
Okay, so that's coming. That's in the pipeline. All right. Now there has been some questions in the community, and this has sort of been a hot topic for a few folks, like a minority, I would say, of the industry, regarding the ownership of the NFTs, because the way that ownership is transferred and the way that you view the artwork is different with the smart contract. You no longer view it not necessarily in your Algorand wallet now, like an ASA. You don't have to add the asset ID. Can you walk us through that process and what's that look like now?
Yeah, so the ASAs are Algorand's own standard, and they have, of course, now they have added support for that in their wallets. But in the background, they're probably not that different from what we have made. Only our is non-standard, so it's not accepted anywhere yet. Now you can view it in block explorers, and you can see that you are the owner. Searching the blockchain, searching just randomly, not knowing the unique identifier, is difficult at the moment, definitely. But there are ways. We also had questions in our Discord about sale history. Is that recorded in the contract?
Oh yeah.
No, we can't store that much information in it. We are very limited in that. But there are ways that you can reconstruct it. All transactions can be checked with the app ID, and all transactions that come from the escrow to the manager address, so that would be the marketplace, would only happen if a piece is sold. And then the transaction would be part of an atomic transfer, and in there the 3 transactions, so the payout to the owner, creator, and us together would be the price. So there are ways you could program it to retrieve all history, which is pretty cool.
Kind of the chain there. You could reconstruct the title chain, so to speak, there.
Now, in our own database, we of course just store the value. We don't reconstruct it, but it is technically all on the blockchain.
Yeah, it's all still there. And there were some questions whether or not, okay, is this a walled garden? Is this a co-chain? But no, it's all still there. It's also publicly available. You just would have to go through and kind of piece it together there.
Yeah, you could also just not use our site and send the right transactions yourself. You could just complete the string of ended. Okay. You would have to be knowledgeable in the one of the Algorand SDKs, so either JavaScript or Go or something, to actually send transactions. There's not, at least not that I know of, a wallet app or something that would support sending those specific transactions.
Right. Okay. Now, this whole thing for you, I imagine, has been a bit of a whirlwind, right? Because you were introduced into, the Algorand world 90 days, 120 days ago, something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, around mid-May, maybe.
Mid-May. Okay, yeah. So there a lot has happened in your world to change in the last several months. What's that journey been like for you? Has the community been opening arms? I mean, have you? What's your experience been so far?
Well, it was a bit slow at first. Before we launched, I almost got no responses, but also we brought very little information out into the world about how it would work. But when we launched 3 days ago, I have gotten 99% very positive reaction from artists. I've chatted to a lot of them in Discord, and they've all been very supportive and very appreciative that we give them the opportunity to sell their art on Algorand.
Great. How are artists finding you to to put their pieces on Algorand and to use Dartroom specifically? How are they reaching out to you?
Well, it's mostly the other way around.
Okay.
David, our community manager, and also the co-founder, is just messaging interesting artists on Twitter and other platforms, ask them if they are interested in it. Some of them new to blockchain in general, never minted an NFT before, but most of them, of course, have already minted pieces somewhere. So that's mostly been the other way around, but maybe now that we have a bit more publicity, they will come to us.
Yeah, maybe now the tide will turn and they'll start to reach out to you and figure out, okay, how do I get on this platform? Because I see other artists selling for 1,000+ algos and the audience is growing there. All right, that's fantastic. Now, so I know you're a developer, and I think you wanted to screen share and had some things to walk us through there. Is that right?
Yes.
Let me make sure I can adopt this. There we go. Okay, we can see your screen now. All right, so Stef, so walk us through here. What do we have here?
Okay, so when you go to the site, you log in as an artist, and then you can create an NFT. This is just a concept. It's just a preview of what your NFT will be. You don't mint it yet, but you upload your picture, you position it in the preview card.
I just got really excited. So when is that going to be live?
This is live.
This is live now. Okay.
We can add description. This is what the preview image will be on the detail page, and this is the preview card. If your image is a bit different aspect ratio than just square, you can change that around. And then once you have done that, it will come in the management page, and there you can click mint. So
it's that easy.
It's that easy.
Okay. Types of files that can be minted here. So what image do I have to have my format in already?
Currently, we only support images of PNG, JPEG, and GPG.
Okay.
We will expand this first to video and then to audio only. So if you just wanted to upload music with a preview image or album cover or something,
Okay.
We already have a couple of artists that have animated videos. I can show one of them. This is Wout in Belgium. Wout.
Okay.
He already has an animated piece, but the site doesn't really support it yet, at least not in previews.
Mm-hmm.
But the original artwork, if it will load correctly, I see it won't.
Oh, that's okay. But that auction is live now, right?
Yeah, you can buy this one right now.
Okay.
If you happen to have 3,333 Algorand laying out,
Yeah,
you
right.
can
I
use it
think
to buy that piece.
I saw one for about 250. That might be within my my budget there. We'll see. But I love that the pricing is like these artists deserve to get paid, no doubt about it.
We definitely have had higher bids than I would have expected. You would think that the value of the NFTs, well, at least it was what I thought, would be relative to the value of the market cap. So on Ethereum, piece might go for 2,000, but it's worth 10 times as much as Algorand in terms of market value. So maybe NFTs will also be 1/10 of the price here, but that has turned out not to be true. It apparently doesn't really matter to traders how large the blockchain is, just what the artist is apparently. But okay, when you have created your concept, you can click mint. Then you have to sign 3 transactions because they are all relying on each other for information. You can't sign them in a group. Normally, you would be able to group sign 1 time your password and then everything will be done. Now you have to do it 3 times because they need to follow each other up.
Right.
So you first deploy the stateful smart contract, that is the NFT in this case,
right,
that generates an app ID, which is the unique identifier, just like ASA has an ID, so does apps.
Okay.
Then that app ID need to be included in the escrow, which will store the funds while it's an auction.
Mm-hmm.
And then the escrow address has to be included in the app ID, in the stateful smart contract.
Okay.
So that's in total 3 transactions. And then the app is ready. It's now fully operational and you can start an auction or you can burn the piece.
Okay, so let's just say you minted it, but then you decided, oh no, this isn't my best work. I'm gonna destroy my own work. You have that option.
Yeah, you have that option. As long as the artist is the owner of the piece, it can be burned, and that would be, in Algorand terms, destroying the contract. It will no longer operate.
Okay.
The most realistic scenario for this happening would be someone tries to sell a piece on Algorand, it doesn't sell, and they might want to change it to Ethereum or something. Could be possible. They can just burn it here and create it there, so to say.
Hopefully that's not happening. Hopefully they're destroying their Ethereum NFTs and bringing them over here. Okay.
Yes. Now, if you have set a reserve price that's a bit too high, people are not bidding. What actually happened on one of the NFTs, let me find it. Yes, this one from NFT Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
He actually started the auction, but the reserve price was too high. Nobody bid. Mm-hmm. He stopped the auction, which is a possibility. As long as no one has bid, you can stop the auction.
Okay.
And he started a new auction with a low reserve price, and now it's actually running.
Now he's got some action. Okay. Now, is that so much stopping and starting a new auction, or is it pausing? Is it technically the same auction, or it's completely new? The timer starts over.
It's a completely new auction. Only the contract does not really care about that.
Right.
There's a value in that. Basically, a boolean, a 0 or 1, is auction running or is auction not running.
Okay.
So then you switch it off and then turn it on again. And when you turn it on again, you can choose a new reserve price.
Got it. And hopefully that's a price that's appealing to people to kind of get the traction going. And I bet there's probably an art to starting off with your reserve price, whether or not people get engaged with it or not. And there's some definitely there's a lot of psychology that goes into these types of auctions as well. It's very interesting when you take some deep dives into it. There's some auction psychology. We do have a few questions here. I know we haven't gotten through your whole flow chart there. Do we want to go through that and then answer some questions, or?
Yeah, let's first go through it.
Okay, let's finish that. I keep interrupting you, but it's good stuff. Okay.
When you start an auction, you set two parameters: the reserve price and the auction duration. So it won't start until someone bids. So it will show up as bid to start auction, and when someone bids, a timer starts. The timer can be customized. You can set it to an hour if you want. If you already know no one ever overbids my pieces, they always sell for reserve price, you can just set it to an hour and get paid out faster.
Right.
Basically.
Okay.
Or you can set it to 3 days, 4 days.
Okay.
How long you want.
Is there a buy it now feature? Is there like a buy it now feature? If somebody just says, okay, if you just bid this price, I'll just sell it to you now and shut down the auction.
Not yet. We want to implement it in the same contract so that an artist can choose, or the owner can choose, to either start an auction or sell it for a set price.
Okay. Interesting. All right. There I go, interrupting again. Keep going.
So that happened there. Okay, and then how do you actually bid? Well, we have a trader that makes a call to the application, and the application checks what you send to the escrow. So to the escrow, you send your bid, a certain amount, and if that is higher than the reserve price or matches the reserve price, the highest bid value changes to your highest bid. The highest bidder changes to you, and when the auction has started yet, the end round is set. So we have a duration property, and when you're the first bidder, the duration is added to the current round, and we have the end round when the auction ends. Now, if only 30 minutes are left or less, and someone bids, it goes to 30 again. So you always have a chance to overbid.
Okay. Now, let me ask you. So while I have, if I'm the first, and forgive me if this is a very basic question, but if I'm the first person that bids, let's just say, this one was, I forget what it was, 2,000 now ago. So I've connected my wallet. I am the trader in this case. I'm the buyer. So I bid 2,000. I assume that you've already verified that yes, I have more than $2,000 in my Algo wallet or whatever wallet address I'm using there. And is that $2,000 held in escrow until somebody beats out my bid so that I can't double spend that money? How does that work, and what are the logistics there?
Yes, you transfer it to the escrow. You can no longer touch it. Either the auction ends, no one overbids you, and the money goes to the creator, owner, and manager, or you overbid and you immediately get your money back. So we actually had a bidding war on one of the pieces, in which you could really see that well. So actually lots of bids.
Oh yeah.
At a certain point, they just start overbidding each other. Here, within 1 minute, someone got their money back. It's a bit more than 1 minute, but someone got the money back, and they immediately can use the money again to bid another time if they have a bit more algo than they originally bid.
Good.
It's really fast. When someone bids, you in the same round get back your original bid. So within 10 seconds, you can overbid someone. And that has been the most amazing thing about Algorand in general. Everything is really fast. On Ethereum platforms, at the marketplaces, you get a message within 20 minutes or something. Oh, your auction, your bid is confirmed or something. We just let you wait 5 seconds. You get a loading modal. Wait until the transaction is finished. 5 seconds, ready. Okay, you bid it. It's set.
Right.
Really amazing.
That is amazing. Okay.
Now, if you're the second bidder, someone has already bid it, you also have to send the transaction from the stateless to the last bidder.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is when the auction ends. Similar system, only now the escrow just pays everyone out. This can be called by anyone. It does not really matter. There's no parameter to check that, because you can only pay it out in the correct order, in the 85-10-5 split. There's no other option. It will always fail otherwise. So if there's an auction ended, you could just end the auction. It will cost you 4,000 micro algo, 0.004.
Next to nothing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, next to nothing. You could just end it yourself if you want. Not sure why you would do that, but you can.
But you could. Okay.
Well, that's the end of the chart.
Okay. Good. Well, we do have a
management page.
Okay.
Users see something slightly different. Let me see if I can show that.
Give us the user experience there. Okay.
They see what they have bought, what is in auction at the moment. Artists, by the way, see this also when a piece that they no longer own is in auction again. They still see it. So
so an artist would see if their inventory, their past work, goes up for auction again.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And sold is history based. So if you buy the same piece again and sell it twice, you would have 2 entries here, but that's just a small technical thing. So you would see your full selling history.
Okay. Fantastic. So artist side, it's inexpensive to use, safe, secure, obviously, no forking. It sounds like you've got some plans so that they could have like a fractional pieces, or 9 pieces or up to 20 pieces. I think all of that is really attractive from an artist side, plus the ability for the royalties to come in. What about so if I purchase this? It's not an ASA. It doesn't get transferred to my wallet the same way it does before. Where's the actual NFT? Where's the file stored?
The artwork or the certificate?
The artwork, or the JPEG, I think you said, or the PNG file, or wherever that is.
At the moment, it's only stored on our site, on our own servers, but we will be building it out on a system similar to IPFS, where it's distributed in the cloud that when our site is down, you can still view it. So we will have the preview images here, and then once you click here, I'm not sure if it's showing up.
It is, yep, yeah.
That image or artwork in full quality will then be stored on the decentralized cloud. So no matter if our site is down or anything, you can still view it.
I think that's what the community worries about sometimes. Like, hey, just worst case scenario, what if somebody on your team, like, heaven forbid, but somebody drops dead and dies, or something happens, there's an emergency. What would happen to their investment there? And I think that what you said there makes sense. We want to make sure it's available still in the cloud somewhere we can, appreciate it. So that's in the works. Any ETA on that?
Probably either this month or beginning of next. That is one of the important features at the moment.
Yeah.
Together with rekeying. At the moment, Algorand limits someone to 10 smart contracts, stateful smart contracts. So we would need to rekey our new account to the artist account to allow for more than 10 NFTs to be created. That's also why we have currently asked all artists to create a new account, especially for the Dartroom, because if you make 10 stateful smart contracts, you can no longer opt in to any other contracts. So maybe you want to use Yieldly or something, you need to opt into them, because they need to probably use your local storage. And that wouldn't be possible anymore because you have reached your limit of 10. So, and they might not support our rekeying system that we will be implementing to allow more.
Okay. Let's see. I saw a few other questions here. I'm going to kind of scroll through. Somebody wants to know if there's any oracles involved.
No, no.
No. Okay. And do you mint on Dartroom's wallet or mint and then transfer to Dartroom's wallet for storage? I think you mint on Dartroom, right? Through the website?
You mint on Dartroom with your own wallet.
Okay. So you connect it and then it through your process. We saw that just a few minutes ago, right?
Yes, you sign it with your own wallet with the Algorand signer, and then it immediately sets all the creator parameters to that address.
Okay. Here's an interesting one. I don't know if you see this one. Somebody wants to know if it's possible to auction NFT music from Opulus or any plans to be able to interact with Opulus that way. I can't imagine that would be possible, but you might be able to do music just as an NFT on your system or within Dartroom.
Yeah, just music as an NFT will be possible. I'm not sure if an integration with Oculus will be. I doubt they use the same system in smart contracts as we do. I'm not even sure if they use, so to say, smart NFTs or just ASA.
Yeah, I
Not
think
being an expert on Oculus.
I think it's an ASA right now. I was involved in their one of their original releases or what have you, and it looked like it was just a standard ASA. Plus the timing of it was pre smart NFT contract stateful availability there. So but you can, I think you mentioned that video would be up next and then audio only after that. But if somebody wanted to, if there was a musician out there, they could foreseeably plug in their music with some type of video component and have that released relatively quickly.
Yes, and we also allow all NFTs to set, I have to look for someone who has implemented that, but to set a custom link to a site that might show more about it.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some questions about hosting 3D files, images, things. Well, that will not happen at all, I think. That's not really something we will focus on. It's maybe a bit too complex for just showing. So you could use this property to set it to anything.
I think it's important when you choose something like this, pick your lane, choose it, and kind of specialize in that, and then we will know what to go to Dartroom for. Yeah. So Edgar's just asked a question: any percent with royalties gamification? And Edgar's, you may want to know, or I may try and, if I may understand this, like, does the creator get to change their percentage of royalties at all?
At the moment, we don't allow that, but it would be possible for us to do that in the future. If we have a more clear line of what prices are, we might lower it a bit because they're all selling so high, or we probably will never increase it, but there's definitely room to work in there. It's just a couple of variables that could very easily be dynamically changed. It's definitely not a technical problem, so to say.
Right. So do you sleep at all? Because what you've explained to me is you built this pretty much like you folks have gone from 0 to hero in 90 to 120 days, and you're telling me there's a whole bunch of implementation that's going to happen in the next 60 days. You're going to get video, you're going to get audio, you're going to get the ability to buy it now option might come in the future. You've got a whole bunch of other things that are right on the verge of happening, and the time frames that you've given me are all, within 2 months or by the end of next month. How much work are you spending? How much time are you spending on this work right now? Is this all consuming?
I'm working on it every day. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know just with me today, we had a previous session that was a couple of hours, and then I've got you here for another half an hour or so. So that's all good. So I can tell you're working hard on even on the weekends here. Okay. Anything else crucial that you want to get out to the community? Did I ask all the right questions as far as, if I was new to this and I wanted an introduction, what else would I need to know? Besides the website, I posted that in the link. So the website's
maybe
out
it's
there.
Interesting to know how expensive it actually is to mint.
Oh yeah. It's got to be next to nothing with Algorand, right?
Yeah, sort of. ASAs are cheaper to do.
Okay.
Smart contracts, stateful smart contracts, are the most expensive thing on Algorand. That is because they need to read the global state of the ledger. They need to read info about it. You also have stateless smart contracts, which, for example, the escrow is. That is only used on a single node where the transaction is submitted to check the code, but the stateful needs to be checked everywhere, and that makes it a bit more expensive. You actually pay for every value you store. So, for example, the value highest bidder costs another 0.05 Algorand, and so that is increased. Does the total price?
Say that number again. 0.05.
Yeah, 0.05 for every value you want to store.
So expensive. Right. Okay. And how many values may you want to store? 3?
How many values we store, or is if possible to store?
Well, how many values do you store?
11, I think.
Okay. So even at 11, it's still relatively few.
Yeah, the total price is 0.654 algo.
0 points. Okay, so hardly anything. 1 yieldly.
And it feels like less because you only pay 0.103 or something, and the rest is the increase in minimum balance.
Oh, right. Okay. Interesting. Somebody else asked about fractional NFTs. I think we kind of covered that, though. We said that's coming. That's one of those things that's coming in the next 60 days, I think you said, where, and for some reason, I'm not sure, I don't know the technicality behind it, but you said it's easiest to do fractional NFTs in 9?
Yeah, so 9 would fit in one stateful contract.
Okay.
And when you would want to store more values, you would need to call up on extra smart contracts, and it would be more complex. Plus, the price would actually rise pretty high then, because you can go up to, is it 180 values or something then?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that calculates to, if it's times 0.05.
Still not ETH.
No, definitely not.
Right.
Yeah, it will actually be 9 Algorand.
Okay.
But you sell then 20 pieces, so per piece it's still not that much.
Right. All right. So should be a significant benefit if I was an artist and I wanted to sell, sort of fractional ownership. And really, like each fraction, like they still get the full. It's not like you get a corner of the piece of the artwork, right? You still get the complete piece. It's more like a duplicate than fractional ownership, I would think, right?
Well, there would be one, in the case of 9 then, there would be one certificate, so to say, and on the certificate there are then 9 names, 9 owners.
Okay, got it.
You could either see it as 9 certificates individually, just signed on one piece of paper, so to say, or you could see it as there are 9 shares in the artwork, but they're all the same artwork and they're all signed.
Okay.
You could view it both ways. There's not. There are no 9 tokens, so to say. That's not the case.
Got it. Okay, understood. So it's kind of like I bought a house with 8 of my friends. There's 9 of us that own it. Now, is it more like a timeshare in that, like, if I go to this house, I got to make sure I pick a house or a weekend that my buddies aren't there. It's the same thing if I want to view this, in the cloud or wherever it's stored. In 60 days it might be in the cloud. Can I view it the same time somebody else is if I'm one of those 9, or do I have to, timeshare it?
They would all be functional individually. So all 9 could start individual auctions for different prices with different times.
Okay, got it. So I could sell my 1/9 share at any given point in time, and it could operate independently of the other 8 folks.
Yeah.
The other 8 holders. Okay. Very, very interesting stuff. All right. I'm gonna take off the screen share here and put us back in center. There we go. All right, so I think we've run over time, but it's really interesting, and I love talking about this stuff. But what else is important? Anything else that you want to get out to the community? I think that's about it for most of the questions there. Do we miss anything that you know were highlights that you get questions on via Twitter or Reddit or Telegram or what you guys? I think you're pretty active in Discord too. It seems like there's a group there as well. Any regular questions that come up there that you want to get out to the community here via video?
Not really. Most of those questions are about how do I mint.
Okay.
An important question, but
yeah, that process seems relatively easy. So that's fantastic. All right.
It's mostly, oh, we forgot to add the right address to the Algo sign or something. It's
okay. And again, the part that I'm interested, so I have a buddy who is an artist, and he's talked to me just yesterday. He's like, Sundance, how do I get this stuff out there to the wider community? And he says, okay, so here's what we got to do. We got to talk to so and so. We got a blockchain, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. We got to talk to Stef tomorrow. So we got to figure that stuff out here. So for him, it's like 60, 90 days, something along those lines.
Oh, the musician.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe.
Maybe. Okay. All right.
I won't promise that it's ready in 60 days, but
okay.
I hope it's ready in 60 days. Let's say that way.
We won't hold your feet to the fire on it then. All right, sounds good. All right. Well, I think you've answered more questions than I actually had time for. You've been fantastic. I appreciate you being prepped up with, your outline there and walking us through that minting process. Honestly, like how you did that looked like it would take less than 10, 15 seconds. Really to fill out a few of those things and upload everything seemed like it was a very, very easy process. So I would love to do this again. Maybe once you do have a rollout for video or audio or whatever that next big step is for you, would you come back on and we can have another discussion?
Yeah, sure. When version 2 comes out, we will talk again.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, until then, we'll keep an eye out. We'll follow you on Twitter, and we'll go visit the website and see what we can bid on.
Yeah.
All right, Stef. Thanks a lot. Thanks everyone for showing up and participating, and we'll see you next time.